This is All Figured Out. I'm Andrea Barr. I'm a career coach for parents, a mom of two, and I absolutely believe that you can continue to grow personally and professionally while protecting family time. We're about to figure out this work, life, and parenting stuff out together. Tianna Mamalick, Thank you for coming on the All Figured Out podcast. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
You're like, anticipation. What am I supposed to do?
I know. What do I do next?
I'm so happy you agreed and were willing to come on. You have such a beautiful story, and I really can't wait to share the story with you. Just to be a mere question asker in the sharing of your story. Take us back. I'm pretty sure when you were born, search engine optimization, which is a very big part of your job now, was not even a thing. Actually, non-existent. Nowhere to be found. So how on earth did you get into the world that you were sitting in today in your career?
It's so funny because my parents are actually IT techs.
Come on!
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
I was the black sheep of my family. I was the least tech savvy person. They used to make fun of me because I couldn't fix a computer.
Couldn't open up a computer.
No, I couldn't do anything. If it was electronics, it was like I would break it every single time I touched it. And they were all like, you can't do, anything with tech. And here I am. So funny.
Come on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that was prevalent like from young. We're talking like the big PCs, old school Macs, like.
My family had cameras in our house before people knew cameras could be in your house. It was nuts. What were they called? Like WebEx or something. Like it was like, this was like before the like early 2000s, if that. And we had a computer in our house. Other people didn't even have one yet. We were always very tech savvy.
That's so cool. What was it like to grow up in a house where you were kind of on like the cutting edge almost?
My friends, this is elementary school we're talking. My friends used to come over and my parents could actually talk to us through it's called X10. That's what it was called. And they could talk to us through the X10 system. So my friends would be sitting in the living room with me and they'd be like, hello. And it would like come from the top. Camera and no one knew what was happening, right?
Wait, you're talking about like surveillance cameras. I thought you meant like a camcorder. I was like, we had that.
No, legit surveillance cameras in elementary school when people didn't even have these yet. No, we were so techie. My family was like pretty hardcore.
We're not talking like Ring cameras here.
Well, they were kind of like the old-fashioned Ring cameras. Yeah. But like in the house.
Oh no. Well, I keep thinking that like, thank goodness like all this security footage wasn't a thing, but you had that.
Oh, yeah.
You were on high surveillance.
Always. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that.
It was but back then you didn't have social media, so people weren't like posting it somewhere, which is nice because you didn't have that like fear of like, oh my God, someone's going to post my weird moment on Instagram.
I love those. I love those reels where it's like the person doing the weird thing at the doorbell. Anyways, I digress. Okay. So you were working for a software company.
Yes.
And you made a pivot into agency. What kind of agency was this that you were working at?
So I went to general marketing agency. I used to be a lead gen manager for an employee management software company. Okay. Loved it, but it was definitely Vancouver. I lived in Langley, 2.5 hours. The drive just was miserable. I don't care how much you like your job. Yeah. 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back is just miserable. So I started working for an agency that was a lot closer and I could do more of what I liked. What I found in-house, the problem was always that they just move so slow. Yeah. And not on purpose. You have to get stuff approved with a lot of different people. And I like to move really fast. And I found every job I had, especially those big tech jobs, were just so boring for me because they were moving so slow. So the agency was, very fast-paced and everyone was kind of like moving really good and you got to work on a lot of different stuff. So lots of experience there.
Yes. And did you ever work with your parents?
No, but when I first started my company, my mom actually got a proposal for her company. So
wait, what do you mean?
So she is a manager for an IT tech company, and they got a proposal for SEO. I didn't actually work with them. We never ended up working together, but I did do a proposal for her. So
sweet.
It's kind of funny.
So fun. And so if we continue to fast forward this journey, so you were like, okay, I know what I like, what I don't like. You move into the marketing world, and then you have a child, Eli.
Yes.
So how did that journey go? Being from a working professional, being like, okay, I've like figured this out. Like, oh, I like this now. I like the agency side. And then motherhood hits you. What was that transition like for you?
That changes you so fast, as you know. So it was like a 180. Agency world, it's fast-paced, it's hard, it's long hours. Yeah. So you usually do like billable hours, which means if you're doing an 8-hour day, you could be doing a 10 or 12-hour day if you're not good with your time. If you're really good with your time, you're still not doing an 8-hour day. Yeah. It's crazy. And once I had him, I realized that I couldn't do that anymore. There was no way, even close to home, that I could manage that type of job. The fast-paced, I would come home and he'd have nothing left of me. So while I was on mat leave, I was like, okay, well, we're not going back to that. But now we got to figure out what to do next because I can't sit still. It's not an option for me.
Were you someone who was always like, I will start a business one day, I will be an entrepreneur? Or was that like a bit of a reckoning for you to be like, shit, I can't go back there?
I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur. That was not an original plan. I wanted to be the tech career girly. I went to all of the conferences and I was like, I'm one day going to be on that stage. I'm going to be talking as like one of their like marketing executives. Like that was always the goal for me until I realized that there were more important things.
Whoa. Mm-hmm. So you made that decision. Was that exciting? When you were like, okay, I can't go back there, was there other options that you were entertaining? Like, walk me through how you made this decision.
Yeah, so I had a few big jobs that had contacted me while I was on mat leave, and I did interview for them. And I was like, okay, maybe I could go back. I had a child shortly after 2020, so we were still, in the throes of it. So he is a COVID baby, and because jobs had gotten better at doing work from home, I was like, well, maybe I could still do that big marketing job and be like an executive, but just do it from home. I'd have more time. But even then, just the amount of times that kids have pro-D days or don't go to school. He was getting sick all the time at daycare, and I was kind of getting near the end I took a longer mat leave. And when I got to the end, I was like, he's getting sick once a week. What am I supposed to do if I get this big girl job and I have to try and work while he's home? Like it's just not going to work. Yeah. It's going to be so hard. And then I also kind of paralleled a little bit. So while I was on mat, I'm not good at sitting still. That's not my life or vibe. So I was working as a freelancer and doing some smaller projects. And once I started doing those, I realized how much experience I actually had. And that helped snowball my whole decision.
It gave you the confidence to be like, I have a marketable skill. There's something here. But what I like about this is like that minimum viable product, that little test. Because it's a huge piece of it. And I think I'm having more conversations on the podcast too, especially where people are like, entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. Now, granted, there are some jobs that are kind of hard to test, I guess. But it is so important to be like, do I like this? Can I get a bit of confidence? Like I imagine, did that give you the confidence to be like, okay, like, A, this is I'm enjoying this. B, I can get paid for this? Cool. Like, how did that feel?
It was, prior to that, I don't think I felt confident I just didn't feel confident offering it, which is so funny because I was doing all of the things. I was doing the big strategies for the agency, and then someone else would sell it as their strategy, or as like, this was the brand strategy. Yeah. And I was doing all the background work. So, but in my head, I was like, oh no, you're not an entrepreneur. And it's interesting because I do think some people do really well and some people don't, because it is hardcore, but a different kind of hardcore.
It's a mental game.
Oh, man.
It's all mental.
Yep.
I actually think it's over 80% mental, the game.
Yeah. Because you always feel like you're going to fail. Yeah. I feel like that's just like any entrepreneur that I talk to, they're like, oh yeah, this could all be taken from me tomorrow. But then at the same time, and we know this in our heads, it's like, well, your job could be taken from you tomorrow too. So, but when you have to like provide for yourself, and you have to put like food on the table for your employees now, it gets so much harder, because then you're like, well, if I do something wrong, I am the reason it's not successful. It's not like someone else made the decision for me.
Totally. You can't hide.
No.
You actually cannot hide in entrepreneurship. There's nobody to finger point. There's no, oh, I have a terrible boss. I say it all the time. I am the worst boss I've ever had. Hands down. I'm not delusional in that. I'm like, that I was going to call out a name. I'm not going to call her name out, but there was this boss I had years and years ago when I was in an agency, marketing agency. And I'm worse than her. I'm way worse than her. I'm so much meaner. I'm verbally meaner to myself internally since becoming an entrepreneur. So there is something there, but you gain that confidence.
That confidence was huge. And I think trying something out is important too, because there was a very good chance that I hated having to go find work for myself.
Yeah.
And then going back to the agency would be the right thing, because then someone else is getting the work and I just have to sit there and do the tasks.
Which is so important to talk about. That is a noble work. Like, that is noble work. Even if, you're selling a widget that you're like meh about, if you can provide for your family and you're going and doing a job and it's actually providing you the mental space outside of work. We always use like the government example, the government worker who clocks in, clocks out, like is not allowed to work past 5 or whatever. That's an extreme example, but it's so important to honor and like lift those people up. Like, I'm such a proponent of the person who wants to go back to work. If anything, I'm like, as a career coach, kind of selling the like, are you sure about the entrepreneurship? Like, there needs to be way more plans in place.
Yes.
To go that path.
My husband, he is a clock in, clock out. He loves his job. He would never do anything else.
We need those people.
Loves his job. He would I've asked him a few times, like, if there was anything you could do, what it would be? And he'd be like, well, a different version of this.
Oh,
exactly.
God,
that.
Love him.
And he loves that he leaves it. He's so happy to go to work and come home and not have to worry about it. And sometimes he looks at me when I'm having my mental breakdowns and he's like, what are you doing to yourself?
Worth it?
I'm like, yes.
Okay, we need to talk about your husband's work because I think it's so important to represent different makeups of families and how everything works. So explain to us what your husband does, what his schedule is like. It's crazy.
Yeah. So he is blue collar. He is a longshoreman. He works on the docks. And he drives a reach stacker. So they're like these giant machines that pull the cans off of boats and off of trains.
What's a can?
A can, the shipping containers?
Oh, yeah.
Like the big
That's called a can?
Yeah.
In
they
the
call
industry?
them cans. Yeah.
Sick. Okay.
And it's like a giant arm claw thing.
Ooh.
And he's like, it's like I play video. He's got like a little joystick and he just video games for his entire shift.
That's a big machine.
Yes.
I can imagine.
Huge
Like,
machine.
how big are we talking?
They'd be like building size.
Oh, my gosh.
Huge machines.
Do you know what I tell my husband actually all the time? Like, probably an annoying amount is what I say, why has nobody made a documentary about the shipping industry? Do you say this too?
So he's come home with some of the craziest stories. You're like, wait, they did what on
Does he want to come on the podcast?
He'd probably be so nervous. Oh my gosh.
No, but is it not like, it is the thing that makes our world go round, for better or for worse, however you feel about that. It provides us with a lot, the shipping industry. And I don't know anybody that knows one thing. This is the most information I've ever gained from another human being about the shipping industry. This whatever you just described.
Nuts.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And
so thank you. What's your husband's name?
Nick.
Nick, thank you so much for the work you do. It is important.
He's
and it's
gonna love
important
this.
we recognize this.
He never gets mentioned, so he's going to.
He should get mentioned. That's an important job. All y'all Amazon people, I mean, I do an Amazon or two. That it's important.
Yeah.
Like, anyways, I digress. Wow. Okay. So he plays the video games and his hours are?
He works graveyard. So he is 1 a.m. and then he's usually home by 9 a.m.
Wild. How does this work for your family?
He usually sleeps during the day. So he's like at 9:30, 10 o'clock, fall asleep. And then he wakes up at around 3 so he can go get our son. He gets like an hour with our son. We do dinner and then he does a nap before he goes back to work.
Oh, he has a nap.
Yeah. So he usually does like a 9:30 to 11:30, but it depends on the day. His job is super it's not complicated, but the way that their union works for like plugins is it gets so complicated. So some days he takes a nap because he needs to be there all night, and some days,
Oh,
yeah,
crazy.
it's different.
So how does this work for you guys? Like, when are your weekend days together? So does he work on Sunday night?
Yes. So the first of the week is usually Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Oh my God, how confusing is this?
So he always has Friday nights off.
Okay.
Those are like his like night off.
Yeah.
And then he'll work. He usually works through the weekend. So we actually just keep the same schedule because it's easier for him sleeping wise. And we know health wise, it's better for him to keep a consistent sleeping schedule than it is to like get up and do stuff. So we just do it later in the afternoon on weekends.
Okay. So later afternoon or like is your family time.
Yeah.
And how does that work for you guys?
It's pretty easy. Most of the time, like you'd be at work during the week anyway. So the only time we really lose is in the morning on weekends.
Right.
But then that gives me more time. I can do stuff with my son and that's like our time. So we go and get coffee or we do like fun stuff or I take him to birthday parties my husband probably wouldn't want to go to anyway.
Yes.
So makes it so easy.
Yeah. And then when can you see friends or like family gatherings? Like can he join? Yes, he can join for some of that stuff because he could come home and have a nap still. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. And he'll
Super
drop
cool.
his nap if we have something going on.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I love hearing like different ways that people make it work.
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. Now, we must continue. I could just ask about this longshoreman life for the rest of our time. But if we were to continue on, so when you were on maternity leave, I know that you were part of writing a book. And I actually have a copy because it was it in 2020? 2021. 2021, because I wouldn't have been interested had I not been a parent.
Yeah.
Okay. And I entered an Instagram giveaway.
Did you really?
I'm pretty sure it was the first giveaway I ever won because I knew Lisa Courier.
Okay, yeah, she was in the book with me.
She was in the book. And I remember being like, oh my God, I won. And I think I got a t-shirt or sweater, something. I got something else
You got
too.
a mom babe sweater. I'm 100% sure that's what you got.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. And the book.
Yeah.
So you, fast forward, small world, you were in that book. Can you explain what this book is? Because it's different authors. Like I actually don't really understand the origin. I don't know the origin of this story.
Yeah, so it's the Mom Babes anthology. There's 3 books and moms get to tell their story within the pages. So it's usually like 12 to 15 moms per book and you get like a short story and they help you write through it. And the reason I was in it because I'm a huge reader. I love reading. My goal this year was 52 books. I'm already at 65. Like I love reading and I've always wanted to be an author. It was like my life's goal to be an author. I used to like write people's book reports when I was in high school and sell them and stuff like that. Like I love.
No, you hustler.
Yeah, I love
You were
writing.
an entrepreneur.
I didn't know I was, but secretly.
Illegally.
Yeah, totally illegally.
Yeah, okay,
So we don't tell the principals or anything.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to be in this book. I found it through a friend and she's like, here's your chance to, be an author. And I was so excited. So I joined and they help you through the whole thing. It was beautiful. It was like a magical experience for sure.
Wow. So I'm picturing like Chicken Soup. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I actually never read it because I had so many books going on the go and I had a newborn. So I'm sorry. And we didn't know we were recording this until today, which is like so fun.
And I don't even think you knew that was the book. Yeah.
No, and I didn't even know that was a book. Okay, so I'm going to go home and read this, but I picture like Chicken Soup for the teenage soul vibes. Is it kind of like that where it's like, but except it's less stories in the one book?
I would say it's more like their motherhood story. So one important fundamental moment in their motherhood journey, and they kind of write about that. So there was a lot of, some were loss, some were happiness, some were like struggles with infertility. They're all so different as stories and each person got to write their own story. So it's just this really beautiful way of like telling people's stories. And it's more on like connecting with other moms and seeing that everybody kind of struggles with the same thing.
Yes, it's so incredibly beautiful. So what was your story? What did you write about?
Yeah, so I wrote about having a difficult sibling. That was, there was more to it than that, but I think in the grand scheme of things, that in my head, when you read the story, you'll probably actually read it a little bit different.
Okay.
So I wanted to get my tubes tied. I did not want a second child. I was very adamant about that. And I wanted to make sure that my choice was my choice. So in the book, I wrote about that. And then I wrote, it was because I had such a difficult situation with my brother. So that was kind of like the lead up to my story. Yeah. And then the most crazy thing happened, but the day before we were launching the book, actual day, like 24 hours before the book was supposed to be launched, he passed away. So
sorry.
I never really shared about the book. I never really, so there was my, your dreams, like author dreams gone. Because I was like, well, I'm not going to share about this book. And I mean, even my mom read it and she's like, you're being a little like, you're really pulling the story out of there. And I was like, but if that's how I feel, like I just couldn't share it anymore. So I have 175 of them at home. I don't know what to do with. But I'm like, here's all these books. I ordered all these books because I was like, I'm going to give them to all of my friends. Everybody's going to want a book.
Yeah.
And now I just got a box of them.
Yeah. I'm really sorry for your loss. That must have been incredibly hard.
It was very hard. I'm getting better at talking about it now. Much, much better now. Time doesn't heal all wounds, but it helps make it easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the challenging, if you're willing to share, what was the challenging part of your relationship with a sibling? Because, and I say that because I think that's a really real, it's like people talking about, the challenging relationship with a parent or in-law, like, there can be challenging relationships. So what was the story around your relationship with your brother?
Yeah, so he was my younger brother, 2 years apart. We often we got along, but we always fought.
Yeah.
And then he struggled a lot with mental health issues growing up. So when we actually used to live in California. So we spent a lot of time in California. And when we moved back to Canada, he just didn't integrate back into everything so well once we moved, and he started, hanging out with the wrong people. He got into, I think he was into substances before that, but he definitely got into some serious substance issues when we moved here, and he just never really caught his footing, especially with the just the lack of schooling that he ended up having because he dropped out when we got here. But he was a serial entrepreneur, so he would always try. He had this dream of having a car cleaning business. He wanted it to be mobile car cleaning. He tried starting it. Like he had different names. He did it multiple different times, and he did well sometimes. And then he'd kind of fall back into the same patterns and not be able to answer phones and actually go and clean people's cars, which is a problem when that's your job. So
yeah. Oh wow. And so the book. So it was just about. So you were talking about just like that being part of the reason why you wanted one child.
It was the whole idea that sometimes, because a lot of parents, and I do not negate anybody's decision to have you have as many kids as you want. If you can afford them, if you want 100 children, like be my guest, go for it. Yeah. For me, it was, we were always fighting for attention. So the whole entire story was really more about like, he always needed more help than I did. And I hear a lot of parents say this, like, oh, I don't worry about my eldest daughter. She's good. She's got it. And what you don't realize is like, just because she's got it doesn't mean she doesn't need you. So there was some of that where he always got the attention because he was always getting in trouble. And when you get in trouble, you get more attention. And he realized that, and it kept and that was like right from young age. So my story was more about the whole idea that you don't have to have two. And it's very interesting because when I tell people like, no, I'm just one, a lot of the times they're like, are you sure? Are you sure? And it's like, oh, I've been sure since I was lit. Like, yep, I'm very sure. And I've always been very sure. So I wanted to call it out just so people saw that side too.
Yeah.
Because we always have this like, oh, well, my daughter or son, they need a sibling. They have to have a sibling. Like, we've got to have two. They've got to be able to hang out with each other. And it's like, well, sometimes you can have just one, and it's okay.
Wow. And is your relationship to having one child different now? I imagine there's so much personal growth that's happened over the last 2.5. No, how many years ago did your brother pass?
My brother passed to about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah. Has your relationship changed? Is it that you were like, okay, I want one child and I don't feel the need or the pressure to have two? Or is it that you are like, I really can't reconcile having a second because of my relationship with my brother?
I think the original would have been I can't reconcile, and now I am so happy that I just made that choice. Yeah. And I knew in the back of my head that I just couldn't, I think personally too, I would struggle with too. I just think like the amount of effort I want to put into growing a human, I just want it to be one. And we love traveling, and I know that we'd travel less if we had to. It's just on automatic. Like you're like, do we have to do that, you know, extra trip?
Yes.
And with him, with my son, like we've done so much travel. He's better on a plane than my husband is. Like way better.
I think that's phenomenal. I love when things like this naturally come up in a conversation on this podcast, because I'm so like your husband and working a graveyard shift and just having different perspectives and dynamics. Like the fact that you own this and you're willing to also, thank you for sharing so honestly that you're like, yeah, it might have been because I had a bit of beef with my brother and like, okay, I don't want 2 kids. But now you're like, no, this is just what we want. You're allowed to want what you want without having to explain it. How tiring does it get? Like you mentioned, like people being like, are you sure? Like, how do you stay confident in that and like own how you share your point of view with grace? Because I know you would.
Yeah, so I know we talk about it and people know like you probably shouldn't ask that question. I couldn't imagine the people who are like, I don't want any kids. The amount of times that they probably get asked, are you sure, is just exhausting. And even if they are sure, you get asked that so many times, after a while you probably sit in your head and you're like, but am I really sure?
Yeah, it's like torture.
Yeah. And we just keep like, are you sure? Are you sure? And I think sometimes we should just be like, okay, that was their, you know, we don't need the like, are you really sure? Like you don't need the extra one. But I find if I just say, yep, I was sure, and I don't give them room for anything, it makes it a lot easier. We move on pretty quick. So I think in the beginning I was a little bit more, it's not that my answer would have changed. It's that my ability to answer the question was softer. And now my answer is very firm. I knew what I wanted.
Yes.
And so people kind of just go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. They don't see a crack that they could get into. They don't see you waver, because if you wavered, they'd be like, oh, there's my in.
Yeah.
Let's dig into this.
Yeah.
But you're like, no. Isn't that like such a metaphor for life?
Yes.
When you like really show, not to say that you shouldn't be vulnerable, but when you show like a lack of confidence in something, all of a sudden, Susan and her aunt come in and they start giving you advice. And you're like, I didn't even want this advice. But this is speaking, for a friend. Like those moments where I've felt a lack of confidence in something and I let that little crack open, and then the person starts giving me their unsolicited advice, I'm like, I get mad and triggered, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, no, I wasn't standing firm in like, okay, I might not have this thing figured out, but I let it open to the wrong person maybe. Yeah. And that's annoying.
I think it's also too one of those things where you might question yourself when people ask you enough times. Because if people are asking you that many times,
100%.
It's like, well, am I missing something?
Yes.
And it's like, well, maybe you are, but you didn't want it. So you're not missing the thing that you think you're missing.
Yes.
Like kids are hard.
Yes.
That is a decision you have to be like, I wanted this. Otherwise, you're going to be angry.
Yes.
Because it takes a lot out of you.
100%. The shoulds are like are just a plague in this world. Like, I should be doing this. And that's why it's all over Instagram, okay? It's all over Instagram, TikTok about like the shoulds, and watch the shoulds. But it's real. It's a real thing. We need to be very careful with like what we're shoulding, what we're saying. Like, probably should have a second one. Probably should give my son a sibling. Why?
Yeah.
Like, if there's no conviction there, no confidence around it, I'm sure things could be fine, but is that how you want to bring a child into the world? And sure, things happen.
and sometimes that's just how it goes. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. But when we're talking about intentionality and decisions, like that's, there's so many metaphors in there for life, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Now, tell me about your brother's entrepreneurism and how that really struck a chord with you and some of the motivation it gave you to go and do your own thing.
Yeah. So as I said before, I wasn't really planning on being an entrepreneur, and he passed away, and I was still kind of in this weird middle ground where I was working some freelance jobs. I had no idea what I wanted to do next. I was in this, like, I did the 18-month mat leave, and I'm like, okay, well, I got to kind of figure something out. And I was starting to not panic, but I was like, okay, well, what's next? And as I was doing these freelance jobs, I was like, oh, this could be a thing. And it's so funny because my business actually, so I was like, I'm going to start a little side business and see how it goes. Christian would have done it. He would have, started the business. So let's see if we could do it. I opened up the Instagram account and my old boss from the old agency messaged me. He's like, I'm so glad you finally did this. It took you so long. Like, I've been waiting for you to do this. And he was super awesome about it. And then I had another mentor who came to me and she's like, this is exactly what I expected you to do. I was like, oh, this is so reaffirming. Like, thanks guys. And I just started it truly as a side thing to start because I was like, well, if I'm doing the freelancing, even if I find a job, I can keep freelancing. And it got so big so fast. I was like, well, this is my thing now.
Oh my goodness. And how has it been? Was it everything that you expected of entrepreneurship?
It was a roller coaster. I don't think I was quite expecting it. And I'm kind of in the who am I without it now zone. So I got so invested. And then my poor son, who's only 4 now, didn't get as much of me. And the whole point of the business in the first place was for him to get more of me. So I'm kind of, now that it's a little bit more established and I feel good and everything's kind of going the way I'm known in certain places, I'm comfortable and happy with it. So it's really this when people ask me who are you outside of being a mom and being a business owner, now I'm kind of in that space. Who am I? Because I don't always think I know anymore.
Who are you?
Well, I'm still trying to figure it out, but I am an author and I am a huge fan of reading. So my next big step is to launch a new book, which is coming out in June of 2026. I am stoked, and it has nothing to do with my family or my brother. Nobody else is in it. It is not an anthology. It is my words from my brain, and it is something that had to come, and I needed all of those other pieces to feel comfortable to finally do this one.
Oh, and what other pieces are you talking about when you say that?
Everything that happens. So going from, if I was in corporate and someone tomorrow was like, you're going to write a marketing book, I'd be like, no, I'm not. You're totally ridiculous. What? Why? Yeah. Why would I even want to do that?
Yeah.
So I needed all those pieces. I needed to be in corporate to learn all the things that I learned there. I learned so much strategy. I had such big budgets. All of these pieces led me to figuring out what I really wanted to do, which is helping small businesses. And I love what I absolutely love what I do now. And all of those, even the grief and going through all those moments of sadness, you come out on the other end and you use that to your advantage. There's only one way there's 2 ways to live. You could be sad and let it eat you alive, or you can take it and make something with it.
It's so beautiful. Mm-hmm. How did you get through the grief? Grief is so weird that we're having this conversation. Not knowing last night that we'd be having this conversation, I was thinking about grief, my own grief with a father who passed when I was 4, who I didn't really know, and thinking about I don't know why, I was thinking about my relationship with grief and what a weird thing it is to be grieving somebody that you don't really know, but have this connection to. You knew your brother in and out, for better or for worse. You had a 2-year-old at this point, and we're kind of in the flux of life in a really big transformative way. How did you get through your grief? How did you work with your grief to come out the other side?
Well, first I would say part of even for your grief, part of it is the grief of the loss, the potential loss that you had. So even if you don't know them, it's also the fact that you can grieve over the lost years that you didn't get to know them.
Yes.
So there's a huge piece to that. I think that's a very, very important part, and you're allowed to grieve over that. For me, I went all in on work. And that's how, I wouldn't say I got through it really well. In the beginning, I acted like it didn't happen. Now, what I would also say is because I did that, I think my company is more successful because I used all of the anger and annoyance and the grief and the everything that I was feeling. And I went so all in on this business, which is crazy because I am an all in kind of person. I'm a really 110 sort of person. I'm a gold star.
I know this about you.
Yeah. I am very 100%. But I I think in my head been a little bit nervous to go all in. So I would have still done the career. It would have been a side project. I wouldn't have gone as all in as I did. But because I had these feelings and I needed somewhere for them to go, I really do think I pushed so hard. I worked so hard. And now I'm seeing all these beautiful things. And it's interesting because now I'm starting to work on the healing portion of that. So I think it took me a little while to get there. And now I'm finally starting to face the whole like, okay, he's not coming back. And now you have to sit with that a little bit, which is something like in the beginning, I was just like, I'm just not going to sit with that. I'm just going to work harder and then I won't have to sit with it.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I think there's the defense mechanism that's there that you're speaking about is the most human, natural, transferable like life experience too. Like it's kind of like I can relate it to postpartum, having felt grief myself and being postpartum. I'm like, there's some relation there. There's some days where you're like, I just need to get through. Like I just need to move through this. And I've talked about it on the podcast before and having a counselor when my husband is going through a lot of health challenges and things were just, our life was in chaos. And she was like, you're allowed to just get through. Like you want to watch Friends to fall asleep? Stop listening to the people who are preaching, like stop listening to the sleep experts who are preaching like perfect sleep. They're talking to the people who are at their baseline. If you're not at your baseline, if you're grieving, if you're postpartum, if your mental health is a challenge, like we're recording this in November, a lot of people are facing that. Like sometimes you just have to move through the different phases of whatever phase you're in. It's like you're in a big chapter, a big phase, say grief. Like you're allowed to move through different versions of that. And so thank you for sharing that too, that you're like, yeah, I couldn't face it for a couple of years. That's a very human thing.
Yes. And I think a lot of people, no one like explicitly tells us like you have to get over it right away. But I do feel like we're supposed to move through it faster. Because 2 years later, people are like, oh, you're still sad about that? Yeah. And I know they don't say that, but internally you feel like they're saying that. And I think sometimes it's actually easier to get over it. Like there are certain people that just need more time before they can even face something like that.
Yes.
And I also think, and social media has its beautiful places. You can, do all these amazing things, but it can also be a giant dumpster fire. And it can make you feel that's the like, quite a few years back, you didn't have to worry about whether your sleep was perfect or not. We weren't scrolling concerned about the fact that we were watching Friends at 2 a.m. Nobody was telling us that. So we didn't have to worry as much. And I think that's part of why everybody has this like more anxieties and more of those feelings. Because now you do that 1 hour scroll before bed and you're like, oh my God, I'm not doing enough. My business is not enough. My career is not big enough. Yeah. And that really is not the case.
It's so true. I feel like we miss out on the intuition. It's like the conversation around motherhood and mothering now. We know so much about parenthood and our children, and that is so freaking cool. But knowledge is also a little bit dangerous. What's that? Is it Superman? Super something? Like with great power comes great responsibility.
Yes.
Too much responsibility.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Becky, I love you. Please come on the podcast. And like if my entire feed was the Dr. Beckys of the world, like that's too much. Like we lose out on that intuition. And not to say like listen to it's good to have information. Some of my best friends are like experts in parenting. And you gotta like listen to what you need. Like 10 years ago when I lost a friend when I was in university and she passed away. And like I remember falling asleep to Friends. And I wasn't feeling guilty about that. I wasn't second guessing my decisions around that. Like I was just like, this is what I need to do to like move on through this. I don't know. There's like something that we're just missing.
I feel like it's okay, and we have to be okay with curating our content a bit more.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and you'll go through stages of, I do a lot of cleaning on my social media, and I think it's more important more people do this, where you'll be in moments where maybe your kid's not sleeping really well. You want to follow all the sleep experts. And I mean, I've met some really, really good ones.
Yes.
And you're in it and you're there and you want to hear these.
Yes.
But then when you're out of it, it is okay it is so okay for you to be like, I'm not following these anymore. I'm
No.
done. Now I want puppies and kittens and happy little, unicorn rainbows. And we have to be okay with the different stages.
Yes.
Don't hold on to the content that you were consuming when you needed it. We have to curate it out so we don't feel later like, oh, well, maybe now my toddler's not sleeping right. Maybe I'm wrong. Like if you feel like it's right,
Yes.
it's right.
Yes. And until it's not right, then go back to the drawing board, go re-follow them. They don't notice, whatever, and make decisions from there.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask, how do you introduce yourself now? So you said that, there's been an evolution. And so you're reintroducing yourself as like, Tianna, you are an author now. We're going to get into that. But tell me about the business side of you. And like, how do you explain what you do? I don't even think we've talked about that yet.
I don't think we have, no.
So what do you do?
I call myself like a digital strategist. That's my current title. I do find it hard to place the title on what I do, but I have been moving towards like lead gen. So generating leads for small businesses. And I really like focusing there. Essentially, I specialize in search marketing. So Google, Bing, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Ads.
Bing. People use Bing. I feel like I see that sometimes. Is that a thing?
Yeah, people use Bing. Not as much.
I'm going to Bing that. Instead of I'm going to Google, I'm going to Bing that.
Well, that's why no one uses it. Nobody
Sounds
calls
dirty.
it Binging.
Sounds dirty.
But
Binging.
ChatGPT sits on top
Yes.
of Bing.
Okay.
So Bing gets used a lot more than people think it
Wait.
Well, it did originally. I don't know if
ChatGPT goes to Bing?
Yeah, it originally pulled from Bing. I'm pretty sure it still does.
Come on.
Yeah.
Hot tip.
I know,
Well,
right?
I don't know if that's a tip, but an interesting factoid.
Yeah. So search marketing is my specialty. And I like to introduce myself as a digital strategist, but I'm working on introducing myself in different ways because I also went through a long time where I would even be with friends.
Yeah.
Nobody cared about my business in whatever group I was in at this current time.
Rude.
And I would be like, I am a digital strategist and I own a marketing agency. And they'd be like, cool. And I'm wrong room.
Yeah,
wrong
yeah.
room. So
Okay.
what do I do in this room?
Yeah.
Because I didn't. And if people ask me like hobby wise, I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm a mom and I own a business. Like I don't have hobbies. This is not a time in life where you have hobbies.
We could dig into that another day, but okay.
Yes, I'm working on it. So this is the time of my life where I introduce myself and I test different things.
I love that.
Yes.
Okay, so to the all figured out audience, how would you introduce yourself?
I am Tianna, a toddler mom and an author, and I really like understanding how the internet works.
Oh my gosh, I did not even prep her for this, everybody. Wow. You're saying something so important here about reading the room. I am obsessed with this concept. Emotional Intelligence 101. If you've ever taken a psych course, if you've ever scrolled on like TikTok, psych, whatever, it's everywhere, right? And it's like, I think it is so important in any situation, doesn't matter what you do, who you are, to really think about how you read the room. Like, if you're going to introduce yourself and then afterwards you're like, oh, we've all done this. I've done this so many times. You have that hangover and you're like, oh my God, why was I telling them about my dog that died when I was 5? Like, you just asked me what my name was or like what I do for work. And then I just, you spiral. My God, it's the worst when that happens. It's like, what's interesting to the person across from me here? Mm-hmm. It's not about me. It's not about like, nobody likes that person. Who's like, oh, look at me, or look what I can do. You should have confidence, but it's like getting to know who's in front of you. So I loved that answer.
Yeah. I started also the reading the room. I love that too. And I think it was something that I didn't notice before. And it's not that I wasn't trying to. It's that honestly I was just so invested in what I was trying to become that I was like, you have to know me as this.
Yes.
And now that I'm kind of figuring out, I've had a lot of mentors who have helped me through this, but it's the walking into a room and realizing like, what can I do to help this group of people?
Yeah.
So for that specific one, how am I introducing myself? How can I support them? Like if it's just being a mom and helping with advice, then that's what that is in that room.
Totally.
And it took me a while to get here, but that's okay.
Yes, because that's building a relationship. Mm-hmm. If you say, I'm an SEO, search engine optimization expert, and you're going crazy on like whatever, things that most people don't know about, their ears turn off and they're like, okay.
Yep.
And you kind of lose that connection point. Like there's nothing, if you know that you're in a mother's group You can be like, I'm Tianna. I'm a mom of one. I like doing still share other things about yourself. You shouldn't just be like monosyllabic with like this is all I do. But yeah, I I love that. Build that bridge.
Yep.
This is good.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. Now, you are finally writing your own book. You are an author, even though you have the 175 copies of your book in your house that you haven't given away.
Yep.
I have one in my house. Tell me about this book. You said to me, I think on the podcast, but beforehand too, you said, I had to write this.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
Well, okay, so I have to write this one because I wanted a book that I could hold and I wasn't proud of the other one.
Aww.
And I think there's also something to be said about like, you can reach goals and you're allowed to redo them if they're not what you wanted them to be.
Say that again.
It's okay to redo your goal if it's not what you want it to be. That first book wasn't the like, I am an author book that I wanted. So when I got this opportunity, I was like 110% yes. That was a life goal. I know I can say I'm an author, but I don't feel good saying it. So I'm going to redo this goal and I'm going to make it better. And I'm going to make it exactly what I want it to be. So that's exactly what I'm doing.
Hell yeah, girl.
Yeah.
You are an author of something you're very proud of.
Yes.
Tell me everything. I don't know why I have no interest in this moment of writing a book, famous last words, but I'm so interested in the behind the scenes. How does it, like you are so in the weeds, like you are a business owner and you're also very much in the weeds. You have a very tangible tactical skill that you have. How did this opportunity come up to write a book about that thing? And how did you even pursue this? Like, give me I want the weird, dirty details about how this came to be.
Yeah. So I'm not going to lie about it. I'm doing self-publishing.
Megan, what's her last name? Oh, sorry. I thought it was self-publishing agency. No.
So I'm doing selfpublishing.com, similar to them.
Okay.
Yes. And I went that route because I want to, and it's kind of I want to own all of it. So, and I knew I wanted to own all of it. I want to own the book. I want to own the rights. Nobody gets anything in this book but me. So it's my book. And that was kind of like a hardcore piece for me. Cool. But I did hire a whole team to help me with the book. It is pretty intense. It's a lot. And when you stop writing for a while, it gets really hard to practice that muscle again. And we live in the AI world. So there's like easier ways to write your book. And my goal with this one is that all of those words are mine. So even though I want to, I have been like actively not using any of the AI platforms to help me with this. So it's taking not longer, but it's a project.
Yes.
And it's hard, but it is a marketing book. But I had to try to think of like, how do I make it more like me and like what I want it to be?
Yeah.
So it's a marketing handbook for female entrepreneurs or female founded companies who like romance novels. So
amazing.
I know. So it's spicy. It's direct. It still has all the things you need. So like the needle movers and those pieces that you need in your marketing, but it's not the like quintessential like marketing book. It's like your website is compared to like how you need to set the stage and like there's different pieces, but we're looking at it in a different way. And it's me speaking to you.
Okay. I was going to say, is it written like there's a protagonist and like some like sexy man that's blocked? Okay.
Nope.
Okay,
it's me relating all of your marketing to the things that we actually care about.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wicked.
So this is a little more unique.
Okay. Where are you at in the process?
I'm about halfway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what does this team look like? How do you find these people to help you write? Like, I think what I find so interesting about this is it's like somebody having a dream and then figuring out how the hell do you make it happen? Like, what was your first step or how'd you put this team together?
Yeah. So I went to a random conference in New York and I met the selfpublishing.com. And while I was there, I talked to them. I was like, this is amazing. You sign up with them. They help you find a book coach. They help you find a marketing specialist. They help you find the editors. Like they support you through all of that. So if you find the right group of people, so I didn't do the same one I did with Mom Babes, but I think I needed to like really separate out from that.
Yes, of course.
So I found these guys, and they're pretty much the same.
Cool.
And so if you want to write a book, it's not as far away as you think. I feel like you would have some pretty good little nuggets to put in a book. But it is a project. It is hard. And it takes a lot of your soul. I mean, you could just write a book and be like, this is what I want to say. But I find if you're really invested, I have a feeling you would be. It takes a lot from you personally. And so that's an important piece. But like, if you want to do it, it's more accessible now than it's ever been before. So
incredible. And you can own it.
And I own it.
You don't have to go back and do the Taylor Swifting. You don't have to go buy back and do like a Tianna's version.
Nope. And it'll still be on Amazon. It's still going to be available worldwide. It's still being sold the same way. Like, books are being consumed differently now. So having access to be able to set it up, they're going to help me with the Kindle version. They're going to help me with the voiceovers for the actual book readings. Like, these are all pieces of the team that we've built together. And I'll still have all of those. But the book is mine.
Oh my gosh, can I voice it?
That would be so epic. Okay.
I've always wanted to voice over a book. I don't know why.
I love that.
Isn't that a weird goal?
I'm going to have to add one section for you where it's got to be like the deep, dark voice.
I love doing voices.
That's awesome.
A very big theater kid at heart.
I was in theater too.
Oh, I think I knew this about you. So Tianna and my backstory, for those listening, is I don't even know how I learned about you, or maybe Instagram or through Business Babes Collective, or formerly Business Babes Collective, now Bloom Collective. But Tianna was such an amazing person to work with. So I was like, okay, I could really like tune up my SEO, my search engine optimization on my website. Didn't really know what it meant, but I was like, seems like a good thing to do. Worked with Tianna. She's like, listen, there's this grant that is unfortunately now closed, where you get the grant money, give it to me. I will provide all the services to clean up your website and do your SEO. I was like, well, this sounds great. Like, so smart, so genius, so like understanding what a small business owner needs and wants. And I think I screenshotted it for you recently that a current client of mine found me on ChatGPT because of your work, which is so fun. Man, like how did you hear about me? When I saw that, I screamed and then screenshotted to you and said, your work is amazing. But now I know you have some funnel stuff coming up, and you talk about the marketing mix in like a bigger way, not just SEO. I know you as Tianna SEO. I think that's what you are in my phone.
Love that. Oh my God, that makes me so happy.
But I love this. I love that you're taking multiple passions that you have. You say you don't have a hobby. Reading sounds like a huge hobby if you've read 60 something books already this year.
I'm a huge romance novel reader.
So that's fun. What should we be reading? If we're dipping our toes into, okay, we'll move past Fourth Wing.
Yes.
I've read Fourth Wing. I did read A Court of Roses and Thorns or whatever.
Book number 2.
Yeah.
What did you do number 2? Did you read it?
Yeah. It wasn't as good.
What? It was life-changing for me, like actual life-changing. If I could go back and read the second book again.
Wait. No, maybe I only read the first one.
You have to. So the first one sets the stage.
Okay.
For the second one. And the second one is like,
shoot.
It's crazy. You know, when you're reading something, have you ever had that moment where you're reading at 2 a.m. and all of a sudden you're like, I need to talk to somebody right now? Number 2 is all of it. All of it. Number 1 is just nice. And the whole reason number 1 is so good is because when you read number 2, you're like, oh, what did she just do to us? Like, actually.
Interesting.
Oh, it's so good.
Okay, what's another reco? One more reco.
One of my all-time favorite books is Caraval. I think
spell that for me.
Stephanie Gerber, Craval.
Oh.
And it's like, she gets into this deadly game and there's a romance, but it's all about her finding herself.
Ooh.
It's kind of beautiful, but I've loved it since I was young. So it's one of my like all-time favorite books. I've read it a few times over and over again. And then one of my other favorites is Uglies, but they made a movie of that recently and the movie butchered it.
Oh.
The book is way better.
Okay.
And it's a whole series and it's like a sci-fi fantasy with a less romance, but still like a really, really good book.
Cool.
Highly recommend that one.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Okay, Tianna, what is missing from this conversation? I'm like, there's so many nuggets, so much to pull. What else do we need to talk about?
I feel like we could sum it up in like this beautiful, beautiful way.
Never phrased it like that. That was such a weird way of asking a question. Okay, keep going.
I kind of love it though. It's okay. I'm gonna go with this. And the like, what do I want people to get out of this sort of vibe?
Yeah.
I want people to know that even if you have the saddest moment in your life, and I always like to go back to the idea of you can be a victim or you can use it to grow. And I really want people to understand that, like, even though you're going through something so hard, one, give yourself time. Don't let people tell you how it should be done. And two, take it and grow with it. Because if you just sit there and be a victim, you're just going to be sad all the time. Like, you're going to be sad no matter what. So you might as well be sad and do something about it. But give yourself the space to do it first.
Let yourself move through it. That is such beautiful sage advice. And I feel like, unfortunately, only advice you can get from someone who's been in it, been through it. And that's why we have to tell stories like this, because we don't want people like, oh, you're only going to know this if you go through a tragedy. Like, that's why stories are so important. So I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for sharing your story, for honoring your brother in this business and in coming and speaking about him. What was something, tell me, I had a friend on, Selena Sayani, who has grief candles and tools, support tools. She also lost her brother a number of years ago. And I didn't ask you this earlier, she said that it's so important for her in grief and what she's heard from other people who've experienced grief to remember the person, to talk about them. So before we go, can you tell us a bit about your brother? What was he like?
Yeah, so his name was Christian. He's forever 29 years old. He loved cars, like just loved crazy amounts of cars, like all the fancy ones. We would be like walking down the street and he'd be like, did you see that really cool car? It was this like XYZ, and we'd be like, what? Like, no one even saw it. Fast cars. Like he just was so crazy about them. And he loved to try to be an entrepreneur because he always loved the freedom of being able to do whatever he wanted to do. And that was sort of things. He was very, very fond of animals. He always loved it, like dogs, where he was just always the best friends. Like if you walked into a room, the first one he would kind of go towards would be like the dog. Everybody else would be like, ah, and he'd be like, ah, dog. He loved them.
Sweet.
Yeah, he was a very, very sweet kid. And especially when he was younger, he was just so, like, I'm loud. And he was so quiet.
Aww. Yeah. What do you think he would say to you right now and everything you've built and done? Or what would he think?
Well, he was my little brother, so he probably wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe he wouldn't. He's also a boy.
Yeah, not anything I'd want to say on air, but he would say it with love. He'd just be like, ah. There'd be some swear words in there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he'd probably be a little, maybe
proud.
Proud.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. His version of proud would be like, oh, you sucked at that. Props, dude.
Oh, sweet. And Tianna, what is something that you would say you're trying to figure out right now? I ask this to all my guests.
I'm going to go back to that. I'm trying to figure out who I am without the business and without being a mom. And I'm trying to figure out what makes me happy. Not what makes everybody else happy. What makes me happy.
And if I may interject and add in, for maybe it's who I am as well as being a mom instead of without.
Yeah.
In addition.
Everything is in addition. It's all beautiful.
Yeah.
But who am I with all of that?
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see your exploration. Congratulations on your upcoming book.
Thank you.
I can't wait to share it. Who knows when this will come out? Maybe we'll time it. Who knows? Or we just start the hype. When do pre-sales go on?
Oh, gosh. I'm not ready for that yet.
Okay.
March, April-ish, I think.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Do we have a title yet?
I do.
When are you sharing it?
Oh, I'm not.
Is this it?
I mean, I can tell you. I think it might change though. So if you release this and it changes, no one can get mad at me.
Okay, fun.
But
oh my gosh, exclusive.
Yes, it's going to be called The Magic of Search Marketing.
Sweet.
Yeah, and I've got a book cover ready too. I was like, I'm going to draw it. It's going to be so adorable. Yeah.
Sweet.
I love it.
I love it.
I mean, it's still a marketing book, but let's be real. We all need to know how to market things. So it has to happen anyways.
I love it. Congratulations. And thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
This is great. Yay.